Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Sumo fans! I'm Vinny and this is Sumo Files. And today I'm going to talk about Day 7 of the 2026 Hatsu Basho. So without further ado, let's dive into the highlights. Abi and Asanoyama circled into a tense exchange that ended with the Takasago man taking the win by Hiki Otoshi. Abi opened with his arms fully extended, moving around the dohyo to build pressure through constant tsupari, but Asanoyama gradually began to deflect the strikes and suddenly dropped his arms towards the clay. With Abi's unbeaten run coming to an end, the title race finally opens up, even though he clearly remains in contention. Asanoyama, coming off a loss, badly needed this win to stabilize his tournament and regain rhythm. Fujinokawa struck first, but Shuranoumi turned the tables to claim a Nokuridashi victory. Fujinokawa took the initiative with a sharp strike to the face, only to have his shoulder deflected by Shuranoumi, who followed up with another shove from behind to send him out. After a string of losses from the Street to 5, the Kiseo wrestler has now won 2 straight and moved back into positive territory. Fujinokawa falls to 5-2 and is reminded that overcommitting early can still come at a cost. Ura finally broke through against Ichi Yamamoto with a Noshitaoshi finish. The Tachi was well balanced, with Ura staying low and Ichi Yamamoto upright. And out of nowhere, the Kise-man pulled his opponent's arms down and tries to end it with a Hataki Komi. Ichi Yamamoto then surged forward, but Ura ducked underneath, and although he missed the leg, he unleashed everything he had, driving him into the clay. It is Ura's first win of the tournament, and like Ichi Yamamoto, he now sits at 1-6, hoping this is the start of a late recovery. Takayasu once again asserted himself over Oho, pushing through for a Tsukidashi win. The opening Kachiage gave Takayasu the edge, but when he tries to go for the body, he was pushed back into a Tsupari exchange that ended after a perfectly timed Nodowa and a final series of thrusts. Oho, who had looked revived on days 4 and 5, now suffers back-to-back losses and drops to 2 and 5. Takayasu improves to 5-2 and continues to dominate this rivalry, extending his record against Oho to 8 wins. Kirishima imposed his strength and control to throw Yoshinofuji down by Watenage. Yoshinofuji aimed for the chest and briefly took the initiative, but a missed Nodowa allowed Kirishima to step inside. The Sekiwake secured a left-hand Morozashi grip, while the Segahama man could only manage an outside hold and attempted a Kubinage. That effort caused Yoshinofuji to lose the Mawashi entirely, and once he fails to rotate Kirishima while being fully controlled, it was just a matter of time for him to be violently thrown to the clay. Kirishima moves to 6 wins and joins the group at the top after Abi's loss, while Yoshinofuji sees his 4th win streak snapped and must respond after having his sumo completely neutralized. Aonishiki showed no mercy as he overwhelmed Wakamotoharu for a Yoritaoshi victory. He took the initiative by driving to the chest and quickly secured a Hidari Yotsu, refusing to let go and soon adding his right hand as well. Wakamotoharu tries to hang on and even attempted a counter by grabbing the Ozeki's arm, but at that point, there was no escape. Any optimism generated by yesterday's win vanished as Wakamotoharu fell to 1-6, while Aonishiki powered his way to 6-1 and firmly placed himself among the tournament leaders. There was little suspense as Kotozakura calmly handled Wakatakakage with a Hataki Komi. The Ozeki simply stopped Wakatakakage's forward momentum and dropped him to the clay. After 2 difficult losses on days 4 and 5, Kotozakura has now stabilized and begun a new winning run. Wakatakakage meanwhile suffers a 3rd straight defeat and will be searching for relief in tomorrow's bout against Ura. Onosato once again used the edge of the dohyo to his advantage, defeating Daieisho by Hataki Komi. Daieisho charged to the chest and nearly found the Mawashi after Onosato pushed his left arm inward, but the Yokozuna abandoned the head attack and focused on controlling the elbows. Daieisho landed on the chin, tried a Hataki Komi followed by a strong Nodowa, yet Onosato somehow held on, and after a brief separation, struck decisively at the tawara with another perfectly timed slap down. Opinions around Onosato remain mixed, especially in Japan, but it is worth remembering he is not fully healthy, and we have seen what he can do at full strength. Yusho drops to 1-6, and edges closer to Makuuchi. Hoshoryu has to go the distance before overcoming Hakunofuji by Yoritaoshi after a Tori Naoshi. In the first bout, Hakunofuji exploded forward with power, while Hoshoryu tries to turn him towards the tawara, but without success. The Yokozuna then looks to secure the mawashi, only to be shut down by Hakunofuji's forward momentum, forcing him to change plans and attempt a Sukui Nage. A mono-e was immediately called, and with both men hitting the clay at the same time, remembering that the supporting hand does not count in this case, the judges ruled for a rematch. In the second contest, both wrestlers quickly secured a right hand grip on the mawashi, and after Hoshoryu attempted an watenage, Hakunofuji briefly managed to lock on with both hands. The Yokozuna then opted for a long pivot that rotated the Maegashira and forced him to completely release the mawashi just to remain upright. That moment allowed Hoshoryu to wrap up Hakunofuji's body and drive him out and down to finish the match. It was a grueling battle that was warmly celebrated by the Japanese crowd, who seemed to be growing increasingly fond of the Yokozuna as he literally bleeds for victories in this tournament. Hakunofuji now sits at 4 wins and will conclude his run against the Sanyaku tomorrow when he faces Onosato. Now, to finish things off, here are the results of the 7th day of the tournament, and also the bouts we'll see tomorrow. In addition, here's the updated table for the Yusho race. And if you enjoyed this coverage, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss any future content. That's it guys, until next time!